How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Nerdy Basement Podcast. We are your hosts. Of course, I'm the OG Osmosis, or just simply Ozzy. And joining me are your other hosts.
You already know, guys. Is Eddie? What's going on?
It's your boy Boozer.
And the trifecta is back for this second part of this episode. You'll see as episode 132, but it's technically two parts of one whole episode that we split in half, as we told you in the previous episode, because there
Correct.
was a lot to cover. But yeah, this episode, obviously, if you haven't watched the other one, make sure you watch that. It's all of the hottest news, the latest rumors, and all that. Ed and I break all that down,
Mhm.
go on tangents, give you some nice information and speculation. We ended very Game of Thrones like, but it is what it is.
A word, actually, it's
we
unfortunate.
did we did end it a little Game of Thrones like in that episode. But this in this episode we're going to be talking about the She-Hulk finale, Werewolf by Night, all the latest episodes of Andor,
Mhm.
including this week's episode 8, and Black Adam. So let's get into
Mhm.
She-Hulk first. It's not to just dive into
She-Hulk.
that real quick. Obviously, that's the season finale was a couple weeks ago. A lot of mixed feelings across the board for the
Oh yeah.
entirety of the season. So
Mhm. Um,
who
I'll,
wants to
I'll
jump into that?
I'll do it. I'll do it. Honestly, I wasn't mad at it. It was a pretty good episode. Obviously, I'm glad they didn't go the route they went, and they made fun of going that route and making it a cliche. You know what I mean? Making Kevin Feige a freaking robot. That's hilarious. You know what I mean? Making
Right.
it's the Kevin. I thought that was pretty funny. And just like as a whole, it's interesting. They're definitely trying to say that they hear us and they understand
Mm-hmm.
where they're falling apart, like here and there and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, where the backlashes are coming through and all the crazy negativity that they do receive, that's a little over the top. I'm glad that they brought that about, and it's again, and that's the whole reason why they did it, because there's so many fans out there that go a little too far and it's not necessary.
Right.
So, as a whole, obviously the episode wasn't what I would have liked as a finale. Because it's like, hey, this is, where's the rest of the story going? But She-Hulk is a very different character. She breaks the fourth wall, as we already said plenty of times that people know. And we got a different type of feel, and we have a different type of show. We have a different hero. Let's see where it goes from here. And hey, guess what? It was good to see Matt Murdock again and all suited up. I don't understand how he got to the Boondocks so easily. Obviously he wasn't. No one drove him there. I mean, like that, I don't get. But
I'm not even questioning anymore.
yeah,
He's just there.
I just thought about it. I was just like,
He's just there.
My
he
man
just
was
made
hopping
it there.
rooftops, bro.
What rooftops?
I don't know, but rooftops.
Invisible rooftops.
Maybe the trees. I'll give him that. He has been trained by ninjas. So, but
that
hey,
that that is true. That is true.
I don't think they fully hit the landing. You know what I mean? Like what they took off. But hey, I enjoyed what I enjoyed. I didn't enjoy certain all the everything, but hey, that's it. That's all I got. You know what I mean? I'm excited to see what they have next for her, but like, just that's about it.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I was just by the time it all
Mhm.
wrapped up, I'm just like, eh, that's something I can see you doing. That it makes sense with the character. You know what I mean? It
Mhm.
makes sense with the character. Did they fully stick the landing? For me, no. I'm not happy about it, but I'm not mad at it either. It's her world. We're just living in it, quite literally. It's her world. We're literally living in it since she's, sentient and all that. She knows it's a show. She knows it's a comic book character. But yeah, I mean, they made fun of it, having the whole family thing like Fast and the Furious and all that,
Oh, I
and
don't even
having
want to
those
talk about that
vibes.
shit. Sorry.
Yeah, we're
I
not
forgot
gonna
all
dive.
about that part, honestly.
We're not gonna fully dive into it, but I mean, the introduction of Scar. I mean, a lot of it makes sense, but I wish some creative choices weren't made completely honest. I know there were some creative differences behind the scenes in terms of how they wanted to end the series. I know there was like 20 different endings that was written for the show, and this is the one we got out of all of those 20 finales or endings essentially. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. At this point, this is something we should expect from Marvel shows on Disney Plus. They don't almost always stick the landing for the most part. Has been their track record. Granted, they're listening. They're showing us that they're listening. They're using She-Hulk to tell us that they're listening to the feedback. They're trying to improve. They're trying to do better. Sometimes fans, like the show mentions and you mentioned, they do take it a little overboard, obviously, which is not cool. But I don't know. I'm just there. I'm just meh. Whatever. I enjoyed the show for the most part, to be completely honest. I enjoyed it for the most part, but I'm just like, okay, whatever. This is what we got. I guess I'll take it. I got no other option but to take it, to be completely honest. But that's where I'm at with the season finale of She-Hulk.
Boozer, take us away.
I mean, for me, I enjoyed the show. I had a fun time watching it. It wasn't mind blowing or anything. It just was a fun time to watch. You know what I mean? Like at the end of every episode, I enjoyed myself watching the episode. And so did my fiance as well. And she doesn't really know much about She-Hulk. We just both had fun watching it. And like you guys said, a lot of it did make sense for the character. I do like that they again didn't go with the typical ending that most other shows and movies have gone with, and they messed around with it a little bit. I definitely think like I feel like the expectation now is like, especially with like off the heels of like Infinity War and Endgame, everyone's like, oh, it's all downhill from here. Oh, this didn't hit. I feel like this is the time for them to experiment with some stuff. But a lot of people argue Marvel's so formulaic, and then the moment every time Marvel tries to do something different, whether it be She-Hulk or Werewolf by Night, everyone's like, oh my god, what is this? And it's like, you guys, like, listen, we have like they should be able to just experiment, and they have the money now and the good faith that if it doesn't hit fully, maybe they can learn from that, and maybe they can take little bits and pieces of things that did work and then move them into future projects. So this is the time that they should be experimenting. And I definitely think like a character like She-Hulk is great to experiment with. Werewolf by Night was an interesting experimentation, which we'll get into. But for me, I enjoyed the show. I'm glad it was made. I want to see She-Hulk again. I very much enjoyed the actress and the character that we got. Was super happy to see Daredevil again.
Right. Well, based on the ending, and then based on the reports,
I'm good with
I'm pretty sure
there were definitely things I would change, but I'm definitely happy we got what we got. We got She-Hulk. Yeah. But yeah, I'm cool with it.
I think all signs are pointing to her rumored appearance or inclusion in Captain America 4. Obviously, we're gonna have the leader there. We have Thunderbolt Ross in the movie confirmed already. So I think we'll get a lot more She-Hulk much sooner than what people may be expecting. Obviously, she's a big contender when it comes to a lot of the teams in Marvel in general. Ties to Fantastic Four, the Avengers,
A-Force,
the A-Force. You know what I mean? Connection Daredevil, Tony Stark. You know what I mean? She's all over the place. So, seeing her bounce. It's cool. Yeah, we got the introduction to see her kind of bounce around now afterwards, and now that she's fully into this universe, it's going to be interesting to see how they play around her a little more.
Well, what it also just solidified for me, honestly, is they ruined Hulk for me completely. Bringing in Scar like that,
bro,
just completely like
I definitely. I'm never gonna say Hulk. I actually like Hulk. I'm not. I don't
look. I like Mark Ruffalo. I like what he's doing, but I don't like how they wrote him.
Right. But I will say creative choices on design of that character design. I hope they make some other alterations in the in the next appearance of his son.
And that appearance, yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking, but
dude, I see it. I'm just like, you're just adding more fuel to my fire. That's it.
They've made it a point that they are watching and listening. So I hope that they'll see that I don't think a single person liked that creative choice of haircut.
Listen, I get the fans putting two and two together. Granted, back when we were on Sakaar, back in Thor Ragnarok, Stan Lee was the barber. Apparently, he was losing his skills. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense that his hair is a little fucked up. It makes sense. But then again, Thor didn't walk out so bad. You know what I mean? After that hair,
he didn't.
I mean, so it's like, oh, can we really blame it on that? Or
maybe since he was a rage monster, maybe he didn't get a haircut.
Maybe
he was so out of control. Maybe he was so out of control. Stan Lee was like, nah, son. Nah, he's just with his little scissor hands. Nah, son, I ain't touching this dude.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, moving on. Let's move on to Werewolf by Night, because this was something I definitely wanted to dive into.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed this little experimentation, this little passion project. that Marvel put together here with this very first special presentation. Obviously, this is Marvel diving into the supernatural and the horror side of Marvel Comics, bringing in a character like Werewolf by Night, who was, obviously teased a little bit in Moon Knight. We get to see him now in live action in an unfamiliar setting because this is uncharted waters and territories for the MCU as a whole because we really haven't touched anything. And I know it's like, even like I said in my social review, it's a little cliche. It's a little cliche to say, oh, this is unlike anything we've seen in Marvel before, but this is quite literally that. We haven't seen Marvel touch this side of storytelling or this term of creative visuals that they presented in this movie. Granted, this is the first project that was released fully in black and white. Yeah, we got a little bit of that in Thor, Love and Thunder, but this is something that's like set in 1930s, 1940s horror cinema and all that stuff. So even the cigar burning on the films and stuff like that, adding those effects to keep it real authentic. For the most part, I enjoyed every single minute of this, and I went in with very low expectations. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna get with Werewolf by Night, but I'm intrigued to see because I'm a horror fan. I want to see how they play a little bit in that genre. And for the most part, I think it they stuck the landing. They delivered in the writing, the acting. Werewolf by Midnight does not. I'm thinking by midnight. Werewolf by Night did not look bad at all, even though he was practical.
Yeah, I remember the rumors where there was an article that was like, it was like oh, the suit looks like a Halloween costume, and the CG is hot garbage for anything that's CG.
Nah, it looked good.
Everything looked good to me.
Even Man-Thing for the most part.
Man-Thing was one of my favorite things, but I'll add to
it. When he was just melting people.
It looked great from start to finish. And I mean, we got the Bloodstones in the MCU now, so it's like there's Marvel's really like cracking the door open to a lot of things by touching this side of horror and the supernatural. This corner of the MCU, they really haven't. They've only hinted at it a little bit. They haven't really touched it. But now that we're there, I think they can bring forward a lot of interesting stories now. Now, listen, like I said before, we got Man-Thing in the MCU. We got Moon Knight in the MCU, Werewolf by Night. We got Blade, Man-Thing. There's a lot you can do with the supernatural side of Marvel Comics now. So, I mean, they even bringing in Marvel Zombies, even though it's animated, but they're bringing in Marvel Zombie. There's a lot of stuff they can do with this. And for them, like I said, I enjoy Werewolf by Night.
I would love for them to do a Marvel Zombies in live action.
I would die for.
Give us one.
I mean, we got to tease. We got to tease them.
Give us, what it can look like. Yeah, he straight gutted people.
Yeah.
At least like the horror, like the violence aspect of it.
Well, I mean, we actually got like Tony Stark as an actual zombie in
Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
No Way Home.
You know what I mean? Was it No Way Home?
Wait.
No, Far From Home.
Far From Home. Yeah, London. Yep, Far From Home. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Boozer, you want next? Go.
Huh? I enjoyed it very much. I'll go. Yeah, if you want me to go next. Werewolf by Night was I'm a huge horror fan. I've been watching horror since I was a little kid. My mom loved horror, so she got me on it real early. And I just it definitely had like a bajillion callbacks and how it felt, the old school horror, and I just love that whole vibe. And I think everyone like played a really good role in just like the aesthetic of everything. I really enjoyed the actor and that played the werewolf. I forget the actor's name.
I forgot his name too, but
and then he's really cool with Andor. Yeah, he's really cool with Andor.
He's really close. He's really close friends with Daniel.
The woman who played the daughter of the old man that died. I think she was really good as well. Like I would really love to see more of her as well. I think she was a badass. But yeah, I think it was just a fun ride. I definitely wish I could see a little bit more of it. I wish it was a little longer, but yeah, I really don't have any complaints, and
yeah, man, listen, 1 hour presentations that like something like this, and Ed and I talked about this in the previous episode because they did mention something about doing this with Silver Surfer and possibly Nova as before giving them either fully blown, full features or throwing them into other feature films that they do down the line. These are like little one shots, like and Marvel kind of played with that idea before. They would do those little tie-ins, the little shorts that would be like 15-20 minutes, but to get like essentially a short film, something like this, I think would go a long way with a lot of characters that don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily need a full blown 2 hour and a half feature. It's something
Or even like an
essentially.
8 episode
Nova
series,
better get a
you
movie.
know.
Nova better
Nova
get a
Nova
movie.
needs a whole trilogy. That's
I need a
different.
movie. I need to get Richard. I need to get Sam. I need Nova to have a trilogy. Absolutely.
We were
But hey,
saying I was down with a presentation.
honestly, listen,
I'm down with a presentation, but he needs a trilogy. Yeah, I'm down
being that
way.
being that Gunn is done after Guardians 3, who knows if they're going to keep utilizing those characters. Like I don't know their fates at the end of 3, but if Marvel doesn't
They
really have
all
access
die.
to those, I don't. But whether let's just say they get more sidelined, for the future of Marvel. I mean, I think Richard, I think the Novas would be great for the galaxy side of things, where Guardians really push us out into space. I think Nova could also be that more tie-in to space, kind of like Captain Marvel and whatnot.
He does have some tie-ins to the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics.
Correct.
So.
He has
Yeah.
a lot of tie-ins.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tons of ties. So I think that character, the reason why I think he would be good for the movies is because it would keep us, we would get, we want to be on Earth a lot, but we also want to explore, Marvel
other
has
corners.
a huge space, narratives and characters and whatnot. So I think Nova will be a great character to segue into that.
Gotcha. Oh, and then back on besides the
tangent.
Werewolf though, but yeah, so this is why I like yes, Nova should have a presentation. We said that last one, but yeah, with the Werewolf by Night, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it was phenomenal. Everything from the action on point. They did not censor that freaking bolt into this dude's head whatsoever.
Nothing.
And it was, there was a lot more of a tonal shift completely for what we're used to seeing in the MCU. Like, besides like Moon Knight getting a little bit more gritty and, some of the other shows like, that we're getting and everything, we're starting to see a little bit more that, hey, things aren't always rainbows and sunshines and all that kind of stuff. And with this side, like, yeah, it's like this side is supposed to be horror. I will say I'm not the biggest horror fan, because a lot of the horror that is out now is about the jump scare, and jump scares are boring to me, because yes, you're going to get me the first time. Now, okay, you got me a second time, third time, I'm going to punch you in your face because you're trying to just jump at me and scare me. So I'm going to fucking punch you. Sorry. So that's I don't do Halloween rides or whatever, but that's what it is, but that's what the jump scare is. But I always enjoyed the classic horror, like Boozer was saying. This was a very classic horror, especially with the black and white. Because that one made you feel the fear. Like it wasn't, it built up to that type of momentum. It wasn't it's built up and everything, because that's what it was back then. And then yeah, for Werewolf to be practical, like makeup and all that kind of stuff, I thought he looked great, just because it wasn't overdone. It didn't need any crazy CGI for him besides him jumping from place to place or whatever.
And it felt natural. And
it felt
rather natural.
It went with the flow, and nothing was like really overdone or anything. Man-Thing was phenomenal to me. I loved everything about him. Ted is now my new favorite green guy. I can't wait to see more.
Bro, their little moment at the end, the little bro moment at the end. I was like, yeah, no, that's it. I'm sold.
Mind you, I loved them even more the moment that I saw him like made coffee with a French press. I was like, Ted, you and I are besties now. I'll bring you some of my coffee grinds. We'll get this going, baby. We'll get this going. We'll meet up at the swamp, right by the Nexus, where this is going to end up being the next multiverse point, because that's what Man-Thing is in the comics. He's the protector of the swamp, which is the location of one of the natural nexuses of the multiverse. So it's like, this is where, the good guys can go if they're pure heart and don't burn by his touch. You can go to the multiverse.
Remember, he only burns those who fear him, essentially.
Yeah,
just like the one guy he burned up got spooked.
Two people he burned up.
Well, he did, actually, right? You're right.
Two people he burned up. Like, it was and again, those little funny tropes. Like, he's just like, hey, where's this dude? And so she's like, oh, he bounced. I'm like, this is I was like subtle, and I like it was a very good tonal shift.
It was
Elsa
great.
Bloodstone was great.
Everything
I love
about
it.
it. For Michael Giacchino's soundtrack, because he composed the soundtrack to it as well. It was great. He really touched on those, those old school horror influences, and the little screeching in the audio to give you that little tension, that little ooh, something's kind of going on here, keep you on edge a little bit. It was extremely well done. So it was a nice homage to those Universal monsters movies that we got back in the day and all that good stuff. I mean, it was fun. And actually, a little fun fact: this was shot in full color. Kevin Feige wanted this to be released in color. He did not want it to be released in black and white. So the director did have to fight to get that in black and white.
I do like the change. I do like the change at the end.
Oh yeah.
How at the end it turned into color. I think that was a beautiful touch. Absolutely.
It was actually very, very, very good the way they did that. And
it was a dawn of the new
day. Okay, now we're in this new reality of things. Now the only real question would be is like, where is this taking place? Because the setting was pretty much self-contained. It was within that little labyrinth.
Yeah, I had trouble trying to figure out what time period we were in, because it really, because like we know from the Marvel universe that like there was more advanced technology way earlier than like, because there was an Ant-Man back in like
that was World War II, I think.
Yeah, like like there was some crazy technology. So like tasers existing in like the 40s or 50s doesn't, like those kind of tasers, like that wouldn't surprise me in the Marvel universe. In like the real universe, I'd be like, this don't make sense. So like I'm having trouble, like, is this how far is this present day? It could be present day. I think, but a lot of them aren't really dressed present day.
Yeah, I want to say they're definitely,
or it could be something like you were mentioning too, was maybe some sort of nexus point, and then bringing in the color, and then Man Thing and Jake meeting in the woods in full color at a different time period, different setting, would be okay. Maybe they switch some sort of multiversal plane to some degree, because like I said, the story is very contained in that one little labyrinth and shit. So that's just me speculating. I could be completely wrong and missing my target here, but
no, only slightly. No, I disagree. I think it's actually honestly I think it's present day. Like, think about it. These guys were all about show. You know what I mean? They dressed up for a funeral, and this is their go-to. You know what I mean? They're the hunters. You know what I mean? They're all doing. They have their own. It was a nice touch niches, to have a little death. You know what I mean? Kind of going on. Yeah, and mind you, it was hilarious. Little Hunger Games, dude. And I thought it was hilarious because I was just like, of course, they're not going to just try to fight the monster. They of course they want to take her out first and take each other out or whatever. Or technically, I think they just wanted to take out Elsa first, and then they were like, whoever takes out the monster next. You know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff. Right. But yeah, I thought it was fun. It was a great time.
One thing I also like is the when they were like looking at the heads on the wall. The idea that there's monsters out there, but and we saw like a like a vampire or something like that will look like a giant bat, because like that just further brings us into like things like Blade and stuff like that. Like there's these other things out there and stuff. So I think that also just helps expand the universe a little bit more.
It does. Very little details like that goes a long way in terms of exposition and world building. But we'll
Werewolf does fight like Dracula or giant vampires and everything. So when he pointed out, he was like, I do remember this one. I fought him a bunch of times.
When he said that, I was like, funny. Oh, Marvel, you can't be teasing me like that.
Yeah, right?
You can't.
How you gonna tell and not show?
How you gonna tell me he fought a giant bat and just be like, nah, we're not gonna go show you that. No, not anytime soon, at least.
No. But I could. All right, so correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Elsa Bloodstone get merged with the Bloodstone? I could have sworn it was more of
I'm pretty sure in the comics it becomes essentially her heart to some degree.
Yeah, so maybe
it's like implemented into her chest or something like that.
Because again, I'm not I'm not an expert on her at all. I know because she's usually jumped into random little midpoints of like bigger storylines, and she just has a little snippet here, and she's always just had the Bloodstone already attached to her. Maybe like you just said, maybe in her story it got implanted in her to keep her alive or whatever. So I don't know, but I do know that in the comics that she has that love-hate relationship with some monsters and all that kind of stuff. Some of them she hooks up with, some of them she doesn't. You know what I mean? But that's what it is. You know what I mean? That's the comics. And but again, yeah, we're great addition. I can't wait for him and Moon Knight to mix it up as well. And
I want to see them at least go at it, even if it's for funsies. I want to see them go at it.
Of course,
because who doesn't like a nice little friendly fisticuffs? But yeah, moving on to Andor. We're almost at the end of this first season. We got about 4 more episodes to go, which is a little disappointing. There's been a lot of tension brewing here. We got a hefty amount of episodes that had some decent action. Episode 6 was just like mind-blowingly good. Episode 7, obviously, that was some more connected tissue to Rogue One and for the wider Star Wars universe. It kind of slows down a little bit here in episode 8 with this week episode, but given all the action we got in these initial 3 episodes, 5, 6, and 7, I can understand. Okay, let's calm down a little bit. Let's kind of spend some time trying to, see what the other rebels are doing and kind of, see how much further they brew their plans and move things and, play a little bit of chess and kind of see how that works out. But yeah, all I know is this show has been firing on all cylinders. This show shouldn't have been this good as it is. And I will say it again, if you guys would have told me like a couple years ago when they announced this show that was going to be this fire every single episode, I would have called you a liar. And I would have told you, give me $5 for every episode that's bad. I would have had a nice, decent amount of change. Or I'll be broke because then I got to be paying, for saying that the show was going to be bad. But yeah, I've been enjoying Andor, every single bit of it. I'm just like super hyped. So I'm all caught up now. So I'm looking forward. I know a lot of the press people have been getting the last few episodes. We haven't gotten it yet, which I'm a little upset. Disney, you already know what to do. Send them my way. But yeah, I'm hearing some mixed things about it for now, but I'm enjoying Andor every single episode. It's a really great show.
How many episodes again? We're getting
I think 12.
12, right? All right, so we're at 8 now.
So we have 4 episodes left. So we've got another month or so
good
of Andor to go before the year is over.
True. So. Okay. I gotta echo exactly what Ozzy said. I freaking love this show. It's so fucking good. I think it's even more compelling just seeing the journey right now that, hey, this dude's in freaking jail because of nothing. Just because he was a little overly cautious.
I know it's because of nothing, but I'm still questioning. It's like, why?
Yeah.
But why?
Petty as hell. Petty as hell.
He literally didn't do anything.
And mind you, the voice
because he was possibly running.
Yes, possibly. Like he was part of it. It's like I'm going to the
why
store.
Are you sweating? But why are you sweating? It's hot outside.
We're
in the middle of a fucking desert.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And mind you, I love the fact that like it was the voice of Darth Maul, also Star Killer. If you guys know that guy, or Being Human, the show, and everything. He was the vampire in the English version. United States version. He did that cameo. He's the one that got him arrested. So I was like, I love that, by the way. But it just adds to it, man. It's hilarious. So like this is just going to add, it either can add fuel to the fire for him to be like, okay, maybe I need to be a rebel instead. But obviously we're going to have to worry about him actually having a hit on himself because he chose to go the other way instead of like going all the way through with this chick and all that kind of stuff from the heist, and just showing the repercussions of everything that happened just because of the fact that he did a job. Now his mom is just going to die a rebel at Ferrex. His sweetheart is essentially probably going to also either be incarcerated or something along those lines.
I think based on the way this episode ended, she's probably going to bite the dust at this point.
Yeah, she definitely like it's just going to have to add the extra because like guess what, we didn't hear any word of her in Rogue One story, so it sucks. But like,
that was my immediate thought. That was my immediate thought. I was like, okay, we've been following Biggs for a few episodes now, and we got some exposition on their former relationship. And how her new boyfriend super jealous, which obviously had a ripple effect on what he's been having to deal with.
Literally, his jealousy made a ripple effect on the galaxy.
Yep.
Let's think about that, by the way.
And it
One
got him
man's
killed.
jealousy.
And it got him killed on top of that.
And he got him. Yep. And
it got him killed on top of that, which is the crazy part.
No. You know what? That didn't even get him killed. Whatever dumbass decision he made at that end there, where he was like, "Is she bleeding? Yeah. I'm gonna charge towards you with a gun while you have a gun pointed at me."
Again, his ego,
his two choices got him killed.
It's just a shame.
But that was my initial thought. Once Deidre locked her up and put her on the chair, I was like, she has to bite the dust. We haven't heard anything. We never heard anything about
Deidre's a cold son of a bitch.
She's calculated. I don't know. I've been seeing some theories and some rumors that she might not be fully Imperial. She might be a well-planted rebel.
Well, she fits in very well.
Yeah,
but I don't think that's the case. I don't
she's
think
committed to the act. If she's
if she is, she's fully committed on.
She's just better at doing at being what do you call it? She's just better at bootlicking than the one dude that honestly lost his job. She's just more tenacious and better at like hiding it than he was. Right. He was just more inept, and he didn't have the stones. He didn't have the stones to do the things that he wanted to do.
Yeah, and I think that's what it comes down to. Like, I think she tries too hard to be a rebel. You know what I mean? So it's like, obviously this is going to be her. There's going to comeuppance. There will be a comeuppance for her, but at the same time, I think that, like, to plant her as a double agent right now, I don't think it's even worth it.
I don't think so either.
It's not.
She's
worth
way
it.
too committed.
Yeah,
and also she's going out of her way. She's going out of her way to like find this rebel stuff. So like it just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah,
even going against the higher ups and all that, and that's even going against all the implications they implemented at post all that big that big case. It's like, yo, everybody's y'all better start falling in line, and y'all really gonna start getting the smack it down if y'all not listening. You know what I mean? But
it's all I know. This series is just is one-upping itself every single episode. I think even when it's kind of down, you know what I mean? It slows down. Again, it slowed down this episode, and I thought it was awesome because they had to do that. For Mon Mothma, going through the details of like how she's getting her cash so she could fund the rebellion, and trying to add that was
so interesting to me.
It really is. It's great. Everything about it. It's like this. We said it on the text messages earlier today. We're like, how do people hate this show? And I
don't get how people find it boring.
Exactly. I'm like, people are tired of world.
It's like Ed and I were saying through text. It's like, if it ain't flashy lightsabers, force pushing, and Skywalkers, people don't want it.
Dude, I saw someone said it's great. I just can't get into it. What?
That makes no sense. That makes no sense. That's a whole walking contradiction.
It's great. I just can't get into it. Then it's not great.
Then it's not great.
What are you talking about?
I will not sit here and go on any social media platform.
So it makes no sense.
Or on this podcast alone, be like, you know what? It's a great show. It ain't for me though.
See, it's like you have to give a reason why it's great to you, but you also are not into it. It's like, listen, I love how good it looks and all that, but I wasn't a fan of it.
Anything as to why people don't like this show. The pacing is too slow. What show are you watching? Because that makes no sense to me. Like I said, even today's episode, which was, they really slowed down the pace of the series. Granted, we got 3 heavy hitting episodes prior to this episode fully coming to an essential standstill. But even then, you're getting more of the other rebels who are still trying to, have their own plans and trying to put their ideals in motion and get all the political stuff. Like, okay, who's aligning with who? Which Imperials are switching sides? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's stuff that's going to further the narrative to the big finale we're going to get. And then obviously tie it all into Rogue One by the time we get to the end of season 2. So it's like, I don't understand why people are like, they can't get into the show. Granted. Yeah. We don't got Jedis. We don't need the Jedis. Rogue One is not praised the way it is for having Jedis in the movie.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so much good shit. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, like I was just gonna say, so I just binged the last 3 episodes earlier today, nice. And the last episode, like you said, it really takes it down a little bit on the action side of things. But like, man, like every scene, like I think what's her name? Who's the senator? Mothra? Like
Mothma. Yep,
Mothma. Is it Mothma or Ra?
Mon Mothra.
Mon Mothra.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little tongue twister, but you got once you get used to it, you got.
But I was just
still not
thinking
used to it.
Godzilla and Mothra. No, but like the senator, like I actually really enjoy her character. Like every time I see her, it feels tense because she is playing that facade around a million eyes that could possibly be watching her. Her driver, she knows is watching. Her husband, no way she can trust him. But you know, she doesn't know if he's watching or suspects.
Right.
But she, no matter what, she's like, I can't trust that guy. And then, you know, she's trying to bring someone else in, which is a ridiculously tough thing to do, to bring anyone into something that's considered technically treason. And you would probably like, that's not prison. Like, you're just going to get killed at that point.
Oh yeah,
The stuff that she's doing. So like, it's life and death bringing anyone new in. So like her trying to bring someone in, like it just felt tense, and like her going, smile, like smile, laugh,
smile.
laugh.
Pretend we're talking about
You know, because like she knows it's all an image. If they're watching, let them watch. I'll show them what they want to see.
Yeah.
But they won't see what's really happening. And I just love that. And that's how so many characters have to act in this world, because the empire is so big, it's always watching.
Yeah.
And I just love how many of these characters feel like they do feel real within this world. Absolutely. They just feel fleshed out, like this is life and death for them, and this is the cause that they want to fight for and everything. So yeah, I'm like invested every episode, and I just don't see how people aren't. Of course things aren't for everyone, but like man, especially if you're a Star Wars fan, I don't know how this
for
isn't
everyone,
it for you.
but you can't go on the record and be saying it's great, but it's not. I can't get into it. You know what I mean? Like you can't say shit like that.
It's funny because one of my friends, he was just telling me, he was like, I don't, he was saying the same thing. He's mirroring everything. He's like, I don't know if I can't really get into it and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, wait, tell me something. Did you watch Rogue One? And he's like, no, I never got to finish it. I'm like, that's the reason why you can't get into it.
I have seen some people that thought Rogue One was trash, and I'm like,
they don't understand.
Bro, it's one hands down one of the best.
I don't understand how you can watch Rogue One and
it's
think
not
it's trash.
my number one. And speaking of which, loving all the cameos we're getting. Andy Serkis,
bro, we got Saul,
we got Saw Gerrera.
Oh yeah, I knew Saul was coming.
Oh my!
I wasn't expecting Andy Serkis.
You know what's funny?
Hands down, we're gonna get Jen Erso at some point. We have to get her at some point.
Probably.
We just have
to.
But
I actually, which is great. I put this together. I feel like they're going to show how Saul got injured with needing the freaking, the freaking breathing respirator and everything like that in this series, because then he changes his mind to do this deal, whatever like that he's hesitant to do right now. And I'm just like, I see him, I'm like, he looks fine. He looks normal.
He looks pretty good. He looks in pretty good shape.
He's going to get fucked up. And I'm just like little bit like things like this. And I'm just like, I see the pieces. I know where it's supposed to go, and I'm just like, but I can't wait to see how they do it. Because there's just so many.
And that's true. That's been a lot of the complaints I've been seeing on social media too, from a lot of other podcasters, creators, fans, or whatever you want to call them. They're like, well, we don't want to see these stories because we know how it ends.
It's the dumbest excuse. It's the dumbest argument.
We know what happens already. It's like, yeah, we know what happens in Rogue One. That is one aspect of the overall story. We don't know all that he's been going through now. Andor has been going through now. All these rebels have been going through right now. We didn't know all that. We didn't see all that before Rogue One. But we're seeing it now. Yeah, we know what happens in Rogue One. They all fucking die. We all know that. That doesn't detract or take away or make that death less impactful, because we're witnessing that journey at this point in time after the fact.
We got to remember, Clone Wars, the animated series, is one of the best things out ever made for Star Wars universe, because of the fact that they gave us some of the mid pieces of how it got to Revenge of the Sith. And this is because it gave us the things that we didn't see in the movies. Same thing with all the other stuff. Like, guess what? Yes, there were Skywalkers and lightsabers and everything in the episode 1 and episode 2. But guess what? Those happened before, and we knew where they were going. We saw, we know he becomes Darth Vader. They're literally
following the original formula, and people are like, well, no, I don't want it that way. But it's like, what do you mean? That's what made Star Wars, the way that was presented, that story was presented back in the 70s, is what made Star Wars the big franchise that it is now. They gave you the end result first, and then took you back to like, okay, listen, this is how Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader. You already know he redeems himself before he dies. But this is how he falls and succumbs to the dark side.
Yeah.
Witness
See how much he
now.
fucking killed people before he became a good guy again for 2 seconds.
You know what I mean? Yeah. See all the genocide he committed before.
And I feel like
I
feel like the only the only reason they complain is because they died. But if they were living, people would be like, "Oh yeah, I want to see how they got there."
No,
so
that's
like,
one of my favorite things.
So like because they're dead, why would we not still want to see that journey beforehand?
Exactly. I want to see all the journeys. I want to see all
like
the
I don't care if they're living or dead. Like if it's
dead,
a cool story, I want to know. I want to see that journey.
Like Saw, if they cripple like Saw, give me the story as to how he got crippled. I want to see that.
Yeah, because that's more entertaining than most like other stories that we're getting. So it's just like, come on, people, like just get over it. Because guess what? We seen Yoda as old as Yoda not fighting anybody, but guess what? When we saw him in freaking episodes 1 through 3 being a badass,
whooping ass.
Don't tell me no one was happy we got that. Like no matter what you think about the prequel trilogies, don't tell me anyone was like, oh, I really wish they didn't show that.
Exactly. Everybody's a liar, like if they say that. But all I know, Andor is giving me what I want, and I already know there's enough numbers to give us all the extra seasons. So
yeah,
keep it going. Let's do this. Let's do this.
All I know is this Ahsoka. I know is gonna hit as good as this. I know Mando season 3 is gonna hit as good as this. I'm hoping if they move forward with Book of Boba Fett season 2, it hits as hard or as closely as hard as this. Any other live action show that we're doing, I want The Acolyte to hit as hard as Andor is hitting right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Oh, so and the kind of side tangent is the one that the series that just dropped, The Tales of the Jedi. Guess what, guys? It's animated, but it's a prequel. It's a prequel. So
how dare they? How dare they? We already know what happened.
Showing you stories from young Ahsoka.
We already know what happened. They're dead in present day, so we can't watch them now.
Yeah, actually, no one knows if technically. No, Ahsoka's not dead, at least. But
no, she's still alive, as we see in
but Dooku definitely dead.
Yeah, Count Dooku is long gone.
Unless
he found a way to channel that.
Well, he wasn't a Sith master, so
no, he wasn't.
Yeah, so that means unfortunately he didn't learn all the cool shit that everyone else did. So it's
an unworthy apprentice. That's how he got Darth Vader. Poor bastard.
Oh god, dude, guys, listen to the audiobooks, by the way. Any like the Count Dooku audible books, phenomenal. Check those out, and you're gonna get so much more from it, and you're gonna fall in love with his character even more, knowing the fact that like this is so much Star Wars content. So much fun. Great.
I can never get enough of Star Wars. If I had Star Wars every day, I would watch it every day.
I would be fine with it.
Which theoretically I can do if I want to go back and rewatch everything. Disney Plus is right there, so theoretically, I could have Star Wars every single day. But yeah, we'll leave Andor there until we're gonna do this again. We're gonna wait until maybe the season finale to kind of revisit Andor.
4 episodes will be a nice.
You want to do
kind of focus on how everything. Yeah.
We can, guys, you know what, guys, in the comments, let us know if you want us to do maybe 2 episodes. I wouldn't mind just doing 2 episodes and then to finish it off that way. Like then 2 more episodes.
That's optional.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like we're gonna. I promise you, I'm pretty sure the next 2 episodes are going to give us something to talk about. So
next episode alone is probably going to, I mean, this episode alone gave us a lot to talk about. Exactly. We didn't even dive into it fully, to be completely honest.
We didn't. Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, we can probably either do it every 2 episodes or just wait till the last 4 episodes drop. But you guys let us know, obviously.
Yes, please.
But yeah, let's get into Black Adam. It's been out for a little over a week, almost 2 weeks now. No, not 2 weeks, a week. It's only been out a week.
Yeah.
Wow, we're back to reviewing, blockbusters within a week of a release. What is going on here?
Oh boy. It's because the hierarchy changed. That's why.
The hierarchy in the DCEU quite literally changed. It's crazy, honestly. It literally changed. But yeah, Black Adam, it's been out for a week. It's been doing some numbers at the box office. The fans are loving it. The critics are hating it. The Rock is loving all the feedback he's getting, whether positive or negative, as he should.
Cheers, cheers, Rock.
Cheers to The Rock for this movie. But yeah, we got to see, at least I got to see it at the world premiere in New York, which was great. So shout out to WB for hooking that one up. That was great. I mean, honestly, the movie, I went in with low expectations. I know I was very vocal on here. Like, listen, I don't know about this movie, man. I feel like The Rock is just gonna, all puns intended, gonna rock it, but not in the best way possible. You know what I mean? And granted, for the most part,
Mhm.
it was The Rock being The Rock. What can you do? You know what I mean? You can't take that out of him. But honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It has some highs, it has some really lows, it has some ones where I'm just like, oh, maybe I'm not feeling that a little too much. But overall, by the time everything wrapped up, I think I left out of the movie theater that day, with a pleasurable experience, as The Rock changed the hierarchy of power in the DC universe. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to dive into the JSA, which I have a lot to say about the JSA, but we'll get to that once you guys kind of give us your thoughts. I know I give my thoughts on social media and all that, which is why I'm not saying too much. I'd rather hear you guys and we pick the movie apart a little bit, talk about the big cameo and all that stuff. But let me know what you guys think.
Gotcha. Boozer?
You can go.
No. Yeah, I will. Oh no, you know what? I will.
He was just being courteous. He
honestly,
was like, "You sure? You sure?"
You know what's funny? I always try to like give us a new different order every single time to switch it up a little bit, or like give our voices a rest. But honestly, yes, it was a phenomenal movie. Was it like everything that they promised and more? Not really, but it was a solid movie. I thought it wasn't
it's
as
like I keep
bad as
telling
people were
people,
saying.
what you see is what you're gonna get.
Exactly, and yes. Am I mad? So here was one of the funny part, right? Like everybody's talking shit about like Rock being the only one without a accent and blah blah blah. But you got to forget, like everyone was talking in English. This is like everyone else's like second language, pretty much. Like anyone that lived in Kadak, and technically Black Adam. The reason why he knew English right away is because the magic. The magic is the reason why he knew English. That's just like that's the wisdom of, oh, I forget the Egyptian deity, but it is what it is. But the little that they had to give him, he didn't have any major dialogue or anything like that.
Yeah,
it was
he didn't
fine.
have any major speeches.
You know what I mean? And I think
Which
that was
honestly
exactly what
worked
it
to his
needed.
benefit.
Exactly.
They worked it to perfection.
Exactly.
The
Because
less he said, the
unfortunately,
more
I don't.
effective he
Yeah,
was.
exactly. And I feel, again, I think he's more of a physical actor than what he is a vocal actor. And I don't try to take anything away from him because is one of the hardest workers in the room. But where they gave it to him, I think it worked. It was like the other things that kind of annoyed me. I think the kid was the worst thing in the whole movie. I really couldn't stand it at all. JSA, I thought they were fine. Pierce Bronson was obviously the best thing in there from them, but Aldous Hodge, I really enjoyed him. I just wish they less Black Panthered him. And gave us a little bit. Yeah, they went a little too off, like a little too much with that. But at the same time, I wish
almost shot for shot.
Yeah, him jumping out of the plane, this and that.
I'm watching that. I'm just like,
yeah,
I know exactly where you got that from.
Yeah, because here's the thing: Carter Hall in the comics is amazing. He's one of the coolest characters that with like a great backstory. He's immortal and so on. They didn't touch any base on that, and I get it. Black Adam movie, but at least give us a little bit more, just a little something. When they were like, "Oh, I see you in your next life," you know what I mean? Like, yeah, something because that's what it is too. He could have said it like to Dr. Fate. He could have been like, you know me since I was when I was younger. You came back and you're still like exactly how I remember you, type of thing. And that's why he's his old friend. He could even said like, he was like, I knew you before you became Dr. Fate. You were a kid. You know what I mean? And you found me again, and this is how we're still together so long. This is why we're such close friends. Give me something more. I feel like they could have made their relationship a little stronger and made it even, made it like just made it better. You know what I mean?
I feel like that would have been easier if Black Adam was just the villain of a JSA movie. But I think because Black Adam was the main character, I feel like it was harder for them to add more exposition time for them. But I definitely agree. Like that would have been better, Rock, like what you're saying. But I feel like that would have fit if Black Adam was just the villain that the JSA had to fight, but that's not how it was.
And
it was
honestly, that's mostly due to The Rock wanting to just, obviously, granted, you worked on this movie for 15 years. I get it. You want to be the star, rightfully so. Because honestly, I'll be egotistical too. I've been Black Adam for 15 years, and this is my first movie as Black Adam. No, yet. All eyes on me. I'm fucking Black Adam, so I don't blame him. But yeah, I agree with Boozer. If this was a JSA movie, and he was, or even a Shazam movie to some degree, and he was the main villain, then yeah, you can get that kind of exposition and stuff like that, which honestly was needed. And mind you, you didn't even get the full JSA team. You only got like a few members.
So and they're not even like the traditional JSA team.
Yeah, they're not the traditional. Yeah, there's only 2 of them in there, which is crazy. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll let you guys finish before I dive into my
finish off.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed it way more than a lot of other DC movies that I thought I would. I did a little ranking on Letterboxd, and I was like, I'm surprised how high up I had Black Adam. I was surprised where it landed. But like at the end of the day, it's still, it's had its problems. Like I went in with low expectations as well, so like I feel like it exceeded my expectations a little bit. I thought again the action and like the spectacle was really good. I thought Hawkman fighting was really fun. I would have loved to see him mess with the weapons a little bit more. Like I love seeing him change that what is that
mace.
The mace into an axe, using the claws and everything. They talked a little bit about nth metal a little bit.
Dive into what he can do with that nth metal, to be honest.
No, yeah, they really didn't. They just said they were talking about the ship being made out of it as well. I did notice, like, for me, and it's just, I guess, because I'm more familiar with the character, but like I knew the aspect, that they were doing Carter Hall, because I was like, ain't no way you got a mansion like that unless like you probably like been living for a long time, collecting monies and whatnot. Like you've been collecting wealth for a long time, my dude. So I was like, okay. And then they said his name, and I was like, okay, so they're going with Carter Hall. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, no, like of course Dr. Fate was a standout. I've been dying, especially since like we finally got Doctor Strange. I was like, DC, what are you doing? Let's get some Dr. Fate. Like, what a great character to introduce. And I liked a little bit, you saw him do the little finisher from Injustice.
No, he definitely did. I was like, yo, I was so hyped
straight from the game.
Right out of the game.
And I love
like, oh, yo, he did it. He's like, I was like, yo,
I also because he's possessed, I loved the voice change when he was Dr. Fate, like how he sounded once he had that helmet on. I
enjoyed parts of it, but some of it was a little too muffled to the point you wouldn't really understand what he was saying. Especially during the fight sequence. Yeah,
I was able to
at least to me.
Yeah, I caught it. Yeah, well, I was sitting pretty close. But like it was not close, but at a good distance from the screen. So
I think Cyclone and Atom Smasher were pretty cool. I think the effects they did were pretty neat, especially with Cyclone. I thought that was like very interesting.
Oh, I thought it was gorgeous.
That was like
visually
gorgeous.
She just
they did a great job with like that unique power of like wind aerokinesis. But yeah, no, I when it comes to the at the end of the day, like the main villain was a big CGI villain, Sabak. He wasn't,
bro. It wasn't just had Trigon.
Yeah, it wasn't an interesting. He looks
just like Trigon.
It wasn't an. I will say the one thing is like they were so focused on like the JSA and Black Adam. The villain just wasn't interesting. Like I thought it was good fights, all around, from like the JSA fighting Black Adam and Black Adam fighting the soldiers in the beginning. Black Adam fighting Sabat, and like even the JSA fighting Sabat. I thought like the action scenes were fun to watch, but like the villain, there was just no interest in caring about like the villain. You know what I mean? I had no sense of like how dangerous he's going to be. I had no thought about like who we knew he was just this big, this demon, whatever. So like it was the villain wasn't really interesting. It was cool to see fighting. I didn't think the CG was bad, especially when like they were like close up not fighting. I think that was a little bit better as well. But I think it would have been nice to have like an interesting villain in this. It felt kind of like I guess there was no investment into that fight, other than I was pissed off that spoilers. I think we've all been saying spoilers. but
Oh
like
no,
they
this is
killed.
full on spoilers.
Yeah, they
We're not holding
he
back.
killed Dr. Fate, and like it's like, how you gonna do my man's like that? So, but yeah, at the end of the day, I definitely agree. The way they incorporated the kid was way different than the way like Shazam did. Um, it felt so forced. Yeah, like that character somehow, especially with like Black Adam flying all over the place, how that kid was just ending up where Black Adam was all the time. And then at one point where Cyclone where they were all fighting the JSA and Black Adam, and the kid was like running to Black Adam, and the mom was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm helping him." How, my guy?
Yeah,
you're old
so
enough
stupid.
to know that you can't help him, that there's nothing you can do. You're
Yeah,
not like you're not a 6-year-old. Like a
Exactly.
6-year-old I would get being like, I'm gonna help, because like they have no concept of what they can do, and like death isn't even a concept for them. But that kid's like an early like teenager, like I don't know what, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah,
you know, like he's old enough to know like, what are you gonna do? Throw a skateboard for it? Like, hey, use my skateboard. Like, you're not. And then like, and him always using the skateboard like through thick and thin, running from the agents, running from the zombies.
When he was sneaking out of the freaking hallway, he rolled on the freaking skateboard.
I was like, how is that not going to make more noise?
I was like, why are you doing that, you idiot? I'm like, so again,
bro, they wanted to make him a California skater boy so bad.
I don't know what they were doing with, and like the writing and incorporation of that kid into the movie, just like, I get they wanted, because like he had a kid and all that, and they wanted to have those parallels, but like, man, it just and also like The Rock never really showed enough emotion for me to think that he actually cares about that kid. Not once. Like, even when he like charged, when the kid was gonna get shot and he charged, I still didn't think like he truly cared. Like, I don't know. He just like, it was more like, oh, I don't want to see my son, like my son died, I don't want someone else's son. Like, I don't know. I didn't feel any connection.
So fun fact too, I don't know you guys, the Rock's show on TV and all that kind of stuff. The guy that plays College Rock, the younger version and all that, and when he plays in college, he was the one that was he was the champion version of his son.
The champion version of his son.
So I thought that was funny. And so
actually, and it was cool that they gave him the actual comic book look. Or before the obviously before Teth Adam becomes the champion. That was super. I was like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting you guys to bring that look.
See, I did like the little twist they did with that. I did like that.
So I personally, I think it would have been even cooler if it was him stealing the power, because I feel like it would have gave him that more of the
because he does that in the comic book, right?
Yeah, well, in the comic book, it's actually his nephew. His nephew gets the power. His nephew shares the power. But then, the moment that he gets the power, like at one point, he makes it to the point of, look, yes, you might have been chosen, but he was like, you're not the right type of champion that we need right now. You are trying to be too heroic when we need someone just to fucking slay everybody. Like, we just need to kill. And this, when he got it, and then the reason why he went on the rampage was because obviously he's saying he missed his son, but, he was avenging his son and all that kind of stuff. But I felt like it kind of took away from why is he so, quick to kill? You know what I mean? It's not like
they wanted to make him. They wanted to make him more sympathetic because they don't want to make him a villain. They want to make him. They absolutely want him to be like the vigilante hero. The Punisher, if you will. They want to make him much more sympathetic. Oh, he was so rageful because his son died that he ended up, almost destroying conduct. So I get why they did it, but like I do agree, like I would have liked what you're mentioning better.
The Rock, a lot of that was because of The Rock. He was real adamant, because Warner Brothers did want to make him like a full out villain. Black Adam, you're gonna give people the full blown villain, Black Adam, but he's like, nah. And I don't know if that's like a self-conscious thing. Maybe he wouldn't have been able to kind of fully dive into that dark mental space to kind of deliver that kind of
being the villain,
of being a full-blown villain. Maybe
has he ever played a bad guy?
Yeah, he did. He played the Scorpion King, and that was horrendous. It was outright comical.
Was he a bad guy in the Scorpion? Well, in his solo movie, he wasn't.
The solo, he wasn't.
Solo, he wasn't, but in The Mummy, when he comes out,
he was there for like 2 seconds though.
Yeah,
and a giant scorpion that didn't.
But he brought in the but he brought in the the Army of the Dead to help him fight. So that made him the villain in that movie.
But has he had to act as a villain?
Yeah, well,
no.
See, and that's what. But here's the thing, though. Even with that, like him killing his own nephew to make sure that he doesn't get the power anymore or whatever, and then have the power for himself, that didn't necessarily make him a villain. Like, you know what I mean? He does bad things, but he's doing it for a cause. You know what I mean? So it still brings him with the aesthetic of like, hey, guess what? You know what? I'm willing to do the worst things ever. To make sure, like, you know, it's the needs of the many against the needs of the few, because he was like, if you know, yes, I could have been partners with my nephew and we could have saved the world and all that kind of stuff, or this world potentially, but we would have probably lost everyone in doing so, because we had to do it his way. We had to do it the way that no lives are taken, or at least the amount of lives as possible. But guess what? You know, he was the realist. He's like, you're going to have to break a bunch of fucking eggs to get the end result that you need. You have to scramble this shit. But again, I get it. Yes, like Ozzy said, maybe it's a whole thing of like he wanted to make sure that these, like the audiences and kids in general saw him as like, yeah, he does a little dirty, but there's a reason. You know what I mean?
I think that's what I agree.
You know, and that's fine, but you know, I feel like
I don't think he just definitely didn't want Black Adam depicted as a villain.
Exactly. And I think like,
not fully at least.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think that's fine. I again, back to the kid though, he was annoying as hell. And I know what they were also potentially setting up is his, you know, Osiris and the kid, Ramu. I think there's two. So he has his own Shazam family, but it's just legitimately
the kid actually gets powers in the comics.
Exactly. So, the kid gets like the mother and the son gets like, well, technically the kid is supposed to be his son's son with Osiris.
Well, yeah,
she's like
her name is Isis.
Is it Isis? I thought it was
Isis.
Osiris.
No, Isis.
Okay, maybe that's why I'm
because she was supposed to be playing Isis when they first announced her casting. She was supposed to be playing, you know, come out in the movie as Isis, as Black Adam's wife.
Yes.
So I mean, it was a little disappointing we didn't get to see that transformation.
My wife was like, she was like, that girl was ready to risk it all. She was like, that girl was ready to risk it all for him. She was like, are you he's willing to do things, okay? He's willing to get things done. When she was talking to like the JSA, like she was ready to risk it all for the Rock.
She was so bad. That scene alone, I'm like, did she just mom everyone? I'm like, fucking hell. I was like, come on.
Yeah,
it was so annoying. It's so annoying.
She was ready to marry Black Adam 100%.
That's what happened.
Yeah. You know what else? You know what else? The scene where he's like destroying everybody and they're playing. They're overplaying it with painted black. It's like, bro, come on. It's like, come on.
Yeah,
it could have been a much more badass track, like something that would have fit the scene a little more.
Yeah,
I don't want to see The Rock.
One thing
kill a whole bunch of mercenaries to paint it black.
One thing I did like is him just like floating through shit. That shit was pretty funny. Like him just floating forward.
Oh, the first scene, like, oh yeah, he's in super speed and all that kind of stuff, and he's just
when he's just slowly like floating through walls. Like when he woke up, like
when he broke out.
Yeah, when he told the kid to like move, and then he's just like, and like he's moving the couch because he's just like floating, and the couch is just sliding over. I enjoyed that. One thing I didn't like though is I enjoyed for the most part Hawkman. I think that, by the way, the suit looked amazing. Absolutely incredible.
Oh, I think all the costumes all around actually looked really
and I very much enjoy what's his name, Aldous Hodge, right?
Yes. I love Aldous Hodge.
I don't know if anyone's ever watched Leverage, but highly recommend that show. He's also in Leverage. Really good show. If you liked shows back in the in the day on like USA, those like sitcoms on there, he
was doing that.
It was really good. It basically was like it kind of was like a spy espionage type thing a little bit. They basically screwed over like horrible rich bad people and stuff like that, like rich people that screw people over, mob bosses, bad people that screw over good people, and they basically were the bad people that screwed over the bad people. But I hated that they really too many lines of like, you don't kill people, like you don't kill people, like it was just like the whole heroes don't do this, like they I feel like they could have had it more succinct. You know what I mean? Instead of like every 2 seconds they're arguing over it, I feel like they could have either had like one nice dialogue speech about it, But like, yeah, it just felt like too repetitive of him just saying, "You don't kill people," and him going, "I do, and I don't care."
That
It was way
and
too
then
much.
the whole Black Adam, I'm not a hero. I'm
Yeah,
not a
it's
hero.
way too
It's
much.
like they were really like
You could have been
hammering
more
down, like,
succinct. You could have been more streamlined with it, and I feel like you could have done more with less if you just
It was
like
like
did
all
like
up
the
in
right
your
kind of
face. Like,
dialogue
he's
choice.
not a fucking hero. That's how it was. I was like, bro, I get it. I
And
get
his
it. I
girl
know.
and his girl was like, he's not a hero. He's willing to do what needs to be done. Okay. She was
So annoying.
ready.
That whole family was annoying, honestly. Like, and
They
then
just
even just like,
God, the way they
come on.
interjected there was so much for
It
like
was so much.
humans
For
just
no
really
reason.
interjecting.
Yeah.
And like
no
it makes
reason.
sense for like Shazam because like they're adopted family.
Yes.
Like that makes sense. And like it's a kid navigating superpowers with another kid. Like that
Right.
makes logical sense why like there's a human and a superhero tagging along with each other. This just felt like really
it was just a little much again, and
well.
they throwing up the dynasty sign and shit like that, and I'm just like, bro, I'm like, I get it, like, how are you getting everybody in this? I was just like, you have literally only 30 people helping you in this whole freaking country and shit, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I was like, whatever, I get it. You're fighting like 40 dead people. Sure.
Listen,
I'm
like at the end of the day, they committed, so I'm better with it. But like it got a little campy with like these people saw like the living hell creatures like rise from the dead, and they're just like, give me a golf club. Let's do this. None of y'all are scared. None of y'all are scared.
Exactly. It's such bullshit. No, because
I get it. The whole thing is like they've been oppressed so long. They've been screwed over so long. They're in like fuck it mode. I get it. But like they were like, and like the kid rolling around the corner, like, I got backup, y'all. Like,
yo, that was so Michael Bay-ish.
That was a very Michael Bay scene. That was a very that felt very. The only thing that was missing. The only thing that was missing was like an explosion in the background. That was the only thing that was missing.
Nah, that's not the only thing that was missing. All that was missing was Shia LaBeouf on the skateboard running, like yelling, Linkin Park playing in the background, and some explosions and shit.
Oh my god, I am going to, if that clip is on YouTube, I'm absolutely splicing that with Linkin Park.
Let's do it.
You gotta do it.
Honestly, it was I think that was the worst of it, everything there, but besides that, hey, you know what,
that and Adam Smasher, unfortunately, I fucking absolutely despised Adam Smasher.
I didn't hate Adam Smasher. I kind of liked him.
He was
it came off a little too Deadpoolish to me. It's like he's trying to be funny.
He seemed like just like a bumbling kid.
He's a bumbling
young
idiot.
It didn't feel like he was trying to like. I don't know. I don't know if that.
He felt more flashy to me. Because then all of a sudden they were talking about, I burn a lot of calories. Going down to Adam's side.
And with the bucket of fried chicken.
Yes,
like,
I'm like, fucking hell. I was like,
screen,
this is literally.
Yeah, where did he even get the bucket of fried chicken? Like that's
fried chicken.
The Flash would make sense because like the Flash could just like zoot over like 2 states away, like 2 countries away, and grab chicken and be back in a millisecond. But like he's not a Flash. He's just a guy that gets big. So in this whole in this whole situation where like my people are probably running, where did you get a bucket of fried chicken?
Why would you have this Adam Smasher when you have the original in the movie, and then you don't even have the
original was an old man.
Well, that's the Fonz. Well, he was the Fonzie though. I'm just saying, like at the same time. Well, here's the thing. So original Adam Smasher is back from the WW2 era. So remember, he fought Nazis. He was there with the original Dr. Fate, Carter Hall, and depending on which version you go to, sometimes Wonder Woman's with them. Sometimes it's Jay Garrick, Flash, and all that kind of stuff. It all depends on the situation. So yeah, Fate, it was like his he was still able to function because of the magic. Adam Smasher couldn't do it anymore, but it was just funny. Obviously, they put in the Fonz, you know what I mean? Like being the original, which is hilarious. Good for him. He got his probably 1 million for that. You know what I mean? But I think the whole food thing, that was just too much. Like, hey, Ezra Miller with a giant pizza, hopping into Batman's whip and shit like that.
I was fine with the joke of him talking about like being hungry, but like How did he get that chicken? That just made no. It would have made sense if it was a Flash. That would have. I would have been like, okay, because he can just zoot wherever he wants. But yeah, that just made no sense why he has fried chicken.
Well, if he gets the fried chicken as he's giant,
unless he went to a quick trip back to the ship and the ship had fried chicken.
That's a possibility. Or because think about it, when he's giant, it only takes him 3 steps to get everywhere. And maybe he just took the fried chicken on his one big finger, like, hey, just give me some fried chicken. And he walked it all the way down, shrink down, and now he had fried chicken because he was only 3 steps away.
That's a lot of work to do when there's like a battle happening.
You know what? Yeah. If we got a chance to interview these guys,
is on the line, you know what I mean? Too much to do.
Well, wait, no, that was at the end. That was it. So he won. They won already.
That
wasn't even before. That was before the final battle.
No, the fried chicken happened when he was sitting on the throne.
It happened when it did happen.
It was after. It was after
he did.
It happened after. Yeah, it did.
But
either way, like chaos has just happened. Like chaos has just happened.
Yeah, that's not.
There's been living dead.
No, it wasn't after that because Dr. Fate didn't die. Dr. Fate did.
No,
Dr. Fate erased the chicken.
Wait, so then
right, he erased the chicken.
So that scene was before they.
That was before the fight with
get the kid. Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yes,
I want to say.
I know. No, it was
well before
the end of the fight with Black Adam, where Black Adam finally concedes to do to
change Shazam and give up the powers and whatever.
That's when it was. Away. It was before Sabak, and that's another tough thing because of all the fights. It is kind of like hard to like. The pacing felt very weird in the movie.
Yeah,
that like the fact that we're confused when this happened. It definitely happened before Sabak.
It happened before Sabak, but this was right before them going to save the kid. Remember, they all meet at the top. They're coming back up. They were like, okay, let's have the conversation this time. Then they found out the kid was kidnapped. That's where they go because that's why Dr. Fate was still there. He disappeared the chicken.
That's when he smashes the throne before they go off to go save the kid.
No, they never smashed the throne. Remember the smashing the throne
wasn't the smashing of the throne at the end?
Very end. After he killed his
Dr. Fate's already
this was before the force field thing and everything and them saving the kid.
God.
Yeah, because that's when she gets the call and
Remember they all walked up together. So most likely there was a street vendor with chicken. That's probably what it was. You know what I mean? And because remember, they weren't fighting the dead yet.
They got the conduct fried chicken, like a little pop-up, like
I definitely know trucks. They did. Oh yeah, totally. Remember, that's a tourist attraction right there. They definitely have it there.
like
Look
every 2 blocks and shit.
This is how much we took from the movie, by the way, guys. We're thinking more about the fried chicken than what we are about the movie because this is what it was.
I can go for some conduct fried chicken.
I can go for some fried chicken right now. I made some chicken today.
I always wanted to make my own fried chicken, but I feel like the process is just so long that I'm like, I'd rather just drive to get it.
What are you talking
about? I'm saying it seems like a long process.
You got to get quicker with your breading station because frying only takes like a couple minutes.
Like I said, it seems like a long process to me, and I'm fine just going somewhere else.
Give me 20 minutes. Give me 20 minutes.
Give me 20 minutes. Okay, then you're welcome to come by. You're welcome to come by, sir.
You can also, get an air fryer. Now he's thinking. Get an air fryer. That'll make it a lot easier. Get an air fryer. I have one.
Okay. Look, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Henry Cavill's back.
Henry Cavill is back.
Dope.
Obviously,
best thing ever.
It was cool. That's all I need. Cameo. That's all I need.
I love it.
Honestly, it was one of the few things that like I think we all knew that DC was like spreading away from like the Snyderverse and everything like that, and we didn't know. Are they going to just recast everyone? Obviously, we still don't know what they're doing with that Flash movie. But we thought like we were like, okay, are they just going to recast everyone? Or are they just going to recast some of them? Because Aquaman and Wonder Woman seem to be still positive reception, so they're probably going to want to keep Godot and Momoa. So like, what are they doing? Obviously, Superman's been sidelined forever. So and then there was like rumors, they're going to stick with Supergirl and just sideline Superman. But that was all supposed to be in the Flash movie, which is still not up for things. So yeah, pretty much like I'm happy that we got him because that's really like I just really wanted Henry Cavill back. I just think he made a great Superman. I think he deserves to get a sequel. I think he deserves to get another shot at like because I don't consider Batman vs Superman a Superman sequel at all.
Oh no, not at all.
I know a lot of people consider that as a sequel.
That was an event film that just wasn't I mean,
That was
No,
like a
yeah.
mini Avengers, like a mini Justice League, because
Right.
like it literally had all three.
that was Justice League
Um,
0.5 before you got to Justice
absolutely,
League 1.
100%.
See,
So,
he
but
even had the slick in the hair
yeah, he had the
at the
curly,
moment.
he had the curly Q.
I was like, yeah.
Listen, I thought they were gonna fake it out and just have him talk behind the, just a silhouette behind the shroud of smoke. And I was like, yo, WB, if you do this again, bro, if you do this again, mind you, originally that was the plan. That was the
What
plan originally.
was what?
He was
The
supposed to
plan
show up in
originally
Shazam.
was he was
Oh
supposed
yeah,
to
yeah.
show. No, but he was supposed to show up in Black Adam without the face reveal.
No,
Oh,
they
gotcha.
recorded that just in case because like it still wasn't even like
Yeah, because
finalized.
he wasn't signed on officially at that time.
Which
So
is
the idea
insane.
which is insane. So this was literally a last minute like addition because they shot these scenes separately. So they shot The Rock by himself with the scene. They obviously used their stand-ins and stuff like that for him to shoot the scene. They finally got the call like from Cavill to be like, yo, Zoom meetings and all that. Yo, we're gonna do this. Cool. Let's meet up in London because that's where he was at the time. Let's film it up in London. We'll edit it together, and bam, that's how the scene.
That's why it was so smoky. I guess that makes sense. Actually,
Yeah,
like it wasn't for aesthetics.
One thing that's always interesting about like superhero movies, and it's always a tough question because like you these other beings exist, and it's like, where was Superman? There was a lot happening. I'm sure that was on the news. Where was Superman?
Dude,
and then it's like, oh well, he was actually off planet for that day, fighting somewhere on. Maybe he was fighting on Thanagar. I don't know.
He was fighting Brainiac at that time.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, hold up, Brainiac, can you spare 2 seconds?
It was his first fight with
back.
Brainiac, and then we'll eventually get a Man of Steel sequel where he's fighting Brainiac again.
See, I always tell people this the same way. I'm just like, when it comes to comics, yes, we know they're around, but guess what? They have their own lives. They have their own villains. Right. You know what I mean? You can't just yes, Superman is one of those. Him and Flash are one of those few exceptions that they can possibly
you could be
get there right
once.
away.
Yeah,
but hey, if someone keeps them busy more than 10 minutes, they're busy for 10 minutes. It's as simple as that. Batman obviously has the excuse of like, I don't need you guys. Fuck off. Don't leave me alone. Don't come in unless I call you. He was like, wait until I literally blood spilling out of my mouth. I need help. That's Batman. He's
wait
like,
till my back is broken.
It's something, right? But in general, that's how I always say to everybody. I'm just like, it's because they were busy. I'm like, you're busy. I was like, I called you when I wanted to go out to get some beers and you didn't show up. What were you doing? Like, there's the same thing. It's the same thing, man. But I think it's awesome. I can't wait to see what comes after. Now I'm more worried about how much of the even fight we need to see, because obviously we're going to see Black Adam, technically the hero. And obviously he does have an advantage with magic, but it doesn't mean that he's that much stronger than Superman. And I just hope it's well done when that fight eventually comes up.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to make a conflict for that, but
we just need to see how Shazam does, and because that's where the conflict happens.
How they got to do it the way the animated movie did it, where he was just whooping everybody's ass. Then he whooped Shazam's ass, and then Shazam's like, yo, I gotta stop fucking around because he just beat the Justice League. It's up to me. So I think yeah, you can have. I don't think a film focusing solely on Superman and Black Adam fighting each other would be good. You will have to go the animated movie
too much.
Where you have the Justice League and he's to wash them. Granted, Wonder Woman and Shazam and Superman give him a run for his money, but ultimately he beats them to the point where Shazam is like, all right, the Justice League is down. I got to do this on my own. I mean, I think that would be the better option.
But then he would be is he okay with that? Because like he would really be like the villain.
Yeah, they will have to. Unfortunately, you will have to make him a little more on the villain side if you want to do that.
There's got to be, we got to figure out I'm sure there's a comic book that I can probably use as an adaptation, because there's something. I know there's something, but like I said, like I don't feel comfortable with him like just whooping the Justice League for nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
what would be the reason that he does that?
Exactly.
In this world,
right.
Yeah. And then again, even in the comics, Shazam and Superman have more than stayed toe to toe with him. But the problem is that once the magic kind of overtook Superman because he was just too slow to notice something, that's where
Right.
Superman loses.
People often forget that
Yes.
Superman is a little weak to magic. That is his weakness.
Exactly.
It's not just kryptonite.
Nope.
Magic
For whatever reason is, I think it's funny. Magic supersedes everything in superpowers in general. But the problem with magic is that it will backfire on you. It's very, it's unconventional. People, there's no true mastery of magic. Magic will screw you over if you give it a chance. So that's one good thing that they've always shown with, like, when it comes to that, magic isn't perfect. There is going to be something going.
Look around too much and you find out.
Yep. You literally get a third eye, or black fingers. You become Scarlet Witch and such. We know these things.
Or your literal essence gets sucked away and shit. So I mean deformities. Yep. But yeah, I mean, like I said, for the most part, I enjoyed Black Adam for what it was. I mean, I went in with low expectations. I actually came out enjoying the movie and having a movie, despite its flaws and its hiccups along the way, being much better than what I thought it would be. And to me, listen, I had a good time at the movies. That's an absolute win for me. So not much I can really.
Wait, side note, was there an additional scene after Henry Cavill's, or no, right?
No,
that was the only one. I think about it. What were we going to do to top
what do you give after that?
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
After that?
Fair enough.
It's like you can't. There's nothing you can top after having that, especially after so many years and all the speculation behind it. So, but that's all we got for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed all the back-to-back episodes. We haven't done that in a while. You guys should have the latest Anime The Basement episode by now, the previous episode, this episode. We have some more interviews coming. Check out all the interviews that we dropped already, whether it be on the website, mostly on YouTube, but we'll post them on social media as well and on the website. There's a lot of content that we've been working really, really hard this year. So we appreciate all the support that you guys give us. Enjoy the episodes. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe here on YouTube. Turn on the notifications so you guys do not miss a single upload. Follow the Nerdy Basement and Boozer literally everywhere on social media. He's not wherever you find the Nerdy Basement, you're gonna find Boozer there. So find him there. But that's it for us this week. We'll see you guys on the next one. As always, stay nerdy, my friends.
Peace.
Peace.